In this video, we're going to troubleshoot and hopefully figure out what's wrong with my Solera power awning on my Cougar fifth wheel. My name's Jason and this is a Weekend RV Adventures channel. On this channel I share camping tips and tricks, some of the adventures we go on, and product reviews. On my last camping trip, when we went to put our awning back in, it got stuck and wouldn't retract. I had to stand on the picnic table and roll it in, and as you can see behind me, it's rolling out okay. I'm going to stop here and take a look at it. And right there we've reached the end of the travel. Okay, now that the awning's fully extended, I'm going to go ahead and try and retract the awning. And you can see I've got nothing. It made a little noise. I don't know if you could see it or hear it move, but it went a tiny bit and stopped. It'll extend further, but it won't retract. So I'm thinking there's either a problem with the motor or I've got a problem with the electrical connection on the retract side. Maybe a bad switch. I removed the cover and found this little guy inside. Okay, so I got up here and I had to remove the 6 screws on the back to access the wires on the front of the motor. I just had to pull them up a little bit from the harness, and you can pull them out in the front. And I was able to disconnect the wires and switch them around the opposite way, and then run the button to try and control the awning. If there was an issue with the switch or the wiring on one side, then the problem would have been reversed. It would have quit working on extend and I would have had the problem on retract. But after flipping the wires, I still had the same problem. Now after playing with it a couple of times, the motor is starting to move. I was cranking it by hand a little bit while I was pressing the button, and it's moving now, but I'm going to go ahead and turn it on for you, and you'll be able to hear how loud it is. That's extend, and then on retract, you can hear the motor's really struggling, and it's moving much slower. I did go and check the other side, and the bearings look good on the other side. Because it's an electric awning, there's no torsion springs or anything to worry about on that end. So I've pretty much determined that the motor's bad. I'm going to have to order a new motor, and after I put it on, we'll take another look at it and see how it goes. So one little trick I'd like to show you if you do ever get stuck with your awning not working is this little hole right here in the top of the awning cover. You may not be able to see it, but if you look at your awning, there's a hole up here in the top. If you take a 7/16 socket and attach it to your drill, you can put it in there and it's not a fast process, but it will allow you to retract your awning or extend your awning without using the motor. I had mentioned initially that I was going to test it with a 12-volt power source. I never got there because once I switched the leads on the motor, I realized that it wasn't a wiring issue or a power issue. It was definitely in the motor. But I want to show you the setup I was going to use if I did test it with a 12-volt power source. What I've got here is a 12-volt car battery charger and a piece of SO cord. This is a 3-conductor cord, like what you would use for an extension cord or just a 110 wiring situation. And I was going to connect the positive to one wire, the negative to the second wire, and then I could take this end of the SO cord up there and touch the wires to the leads of the motor and run it in forward, and then switch them and run it in reverse to test the motor's operation. Now I never got there, but that's the setup, and I just wanted to show you what I was going to do in case you want to give that a try yourself. I would be careful with your battery charger. I was going to run mine on the 4-amp setting. I think that should have been enough power to run the motor, but not enough to burn anything up. You definitely don't want to set it. This one's got a 200 amp engine start setting. You definitely don't want to put it there because if there is a short in the wiring, that'll pump all 200 amps right up through your motor and you'll definitely fry it. Well, I'm going to go inside and see if I can find a motor online somewhere and get it on order. I've got a camping trip coming up this weekend, so I'm probably going to have to live with the awning either not being used or bring it in and out with the drill motor while I'm there. As soon as I get the motor in, I'll film the installation and show you how that goes, and hopefully the problem will be solved. If you're enjoying the video so far, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And if you like what you see and you want to see more after this video is over, check out the rest of the channel. Well, I'm back. I was able to find the motor on Amazon. It was available with Prime shipping, so I got it in 2 days. Unfortunately, it's Friday, and we're getting ready to leave for a camping trip for 4th of July weekend. But I'm going to try and get this motor on quick before we go so we can use the awning on this trip. It should be a pretty simple connection. If you look here, we've got 3 bolts that hold the motor on. With the front cover removed, I still can't get to the back bolt, so I had to take the 2 screws off this back plastic cover as well. And then I can remove that whole thing. And now I can access the 3 bolts that hold the motor on. Right here's the power leads, black to black, and the red's connected to the white. And then lastly, I tied a rope from the awning support where it's connected to the frame around the awning here. So when I take the motor off, it can't unroll and end up fully extended on me. Well, it's all done. I've got the covers back on and the awning seems to be working fine. I'll run it with the remote here so you can see it closing back behind me. There's no more loud grinding noises or anything coming from the motor like I had before. The whole thing took about 20 minutes to do, so it's a pretty easy job, and you only need 2 tools, a 10mm socket and a Phillips head screwdriver. So if you've got a problem with your awning, go ahead, check it out. If it's the motor, don't be afraid to replace it yourself. And again, thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, give me a thumbs up, check out the channel, and if you like what you see, subscribe for more. You can also click or tap any of the videos on the screen next to me right now. Thanks for watching, and happy camping.